Ashley Peter Griggs. How are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good. Bloody, as I said before, I'm recovering from this run. Yeah, I'm not a child of heat. I don't think. I don't operate well in the. I don't even think well in the heat. You know.
No, neither.
I come back from like doing deliveries and shit, and I literally have to like decompress. It's like socks off.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like cold bloody flannel on the forehead. Just like, all right, where am I? Okay, cool. Start again.
Yeah.
But some people just thrive in it.
Yeah, I struggle. I struggle hard, but I kind of weirdly find that I work harder when I'm up against it, kind of thing.
When you're in the zone,
Yeah.
it's sick.
Yeah.
But I didn't hit that zone this morning running. I literally got to a certain point. I was just like, I'm just accepting that I'm not doing good today.
Yeah.
You know? But I feel like when you're like long pants, long sleeves, and you're doing work and you're like sweating and flies, you're like, I'm the man right now. You know? I'm made for this.
Yeah. Do you prefer to train in the mornings in terms of running?
Dude, it's interesting, hey, because like you run in the morning. I don't know. I'll answer it with something else. I always found that I did my best competing when I was competing.
Yeah.
The day after hard training, because you know how normally you taper off and then you'll compete.
Yeah.
So when I was like pro, semi-pro, whatever you want to call it, you'd compete 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And you would train like 5 to 10 times a week. So you'd have these crossovers where you'd be do like an extremely hard ride on the Thursday night and then be going to some town or city, 100 Ks away to do a marathon.
Yeah, right.
And I would fucking crank that marathon. And then you find like when you would taper off and you're like, right, I've got all the energy in the bank, my legs are good, I'm fresh and all that. You go out and it's like, it's because I was a marathon skater.
Yeah.
You wouldn't start really feeling it until like 10 Ks in when you had done some chasing and done some work and done all of that. You know what I mean? Like it was, So I think like to sort of, dial that down, I'd really like training. Who doesn't like training fresh, right?
Yeah.
But I always find I reach that point of the training session where you're like, I'm in it quicker when I do it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like you need to get that fucking like first bit of it's almost like crappy fresh
blow the
energy.
dust off.
Yeah. But you're a footy player, right?
Yeah, it used to be.
So I'm guessing you're a PM trainer, right?
Yeah. Even now when I train weights or even run, I can't do it. I just can't do it in the morning. Like we obviously used to ruck together and that was as good as it got for me. Like a casual stroll on the beach was as good as I got in the mornings.
With a fucking yarn as well. Yeah. Even like, do you like training alone or with someone?
Solo. Yeah.
So I feel like even that's like a character trait of people. Like some people were just like, no, can't train alone. Yeah. Can't train alone. And then like love my Saturday morning run with the boys.
Yeah.
But like, if you find a sixth gear on a training session, it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You got to do the boys' pace.
Yeah.
And actually I've had the boys pull me aside and they're like, hey, Saturday mornings isn't about you. Okay, I guess so. Yeah. This is news to me, but I'm taking it on board, Yeah. But yeah, no, you train by yourself and, if you're just like, fuck, I might go for it and you go for it and, it's nice. And also training alone builds a different sort of strength as well. Yeah. Builds a different sort of character because you're like, I'm just out here.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Absolutely. And I think in the gym, I'm definitely solo. I haven't trained with anyone since I sort of did some stuff with powerlifting, but
you did some powerlifting.
I did, yeah.
Interesting.
This is going back. Some memories popped up the other day, actually. It's probably 8-9 years ago now.
Dude, you got a wild frame for powerlifting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You'd have to work especially hard, hey?
Oh, and that's probably why I left it behind because one, it was a sport where everyone was gassed up, right? So I'm competing against dudes that were like, there was some guys in there at 65, 70 kilos lifting just obscene weights, like not natural at all. But credit to them, you still got to do it, right?
65 kilos is crazy, eh?
Tiny dudes, and they were just shifting like 250 odd deadlifts, some pushing towards that 300 deadlift, which is
my God, that's crazy.
Yeah. At that weight. And I was training really hard and doing everything right. But I just wasn't getting anywhere in terms of the competition day.
Yeah.
You obviously want to do as well as you can, and you come away feeling a bit deflated and defeated when you're sort of not anywhere near the top. And it was just one of those things where I just felt like I'd reached the ceiling based on a natural kind of athlete.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate curse of being masculine, isn't it? You're like, if I'm not winning, what the fuck am I doing here? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And also the masculine curse is like you start going like, I could take winning serious enough to gas.
Yeah.
You know, like I could.
Yeah.
But then you start, you know, you're in that fork in the road where you're like, am I a powerlifter for the rest of my life? Or is this a season or a chapter for me?
Yeah.
So yeah, and dude, that replicates itself across everything, right? You know, I feel like the two safest bets you can make as far as throwing yourself into something is being in business, being a dad.
Yeah.
Because those two things are definitely really high chances of paying off in a really good, like long time frame way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if you have a business for 20 years and you're just 1% better every day, 1% better every week, you have a hell of a business in 20 years.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
You know? And like you have the bloody privilege of going through right now, and I'm trying to get there as well. It's like having a child is like, bro, what else is there? You know what I mean? Like, how fucking cool is that?
Puts a lot in perspective, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
what, you're 3 months in?
My little one's 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
It's flown.
Yeah.
And it just, like, you think time goes fast without, but then as soon as they come along, it's like, shit, she's been here for 9 months.
Is that a filling the time, like time observation? Do you think that you're having to do a lot more in each 24-hour period now?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. It's like just trying to still fit in the things that are important to obviously myself and my partner Jess, because you want to show up and be the best you can for your child. So that for me is, you know, doing my art and business stuff. That's really important, that creative outlet. Obviously training consistently is really big for me with my mental health. And then doing the best I can in obviously what I do at work. It's just, you know, you talk about it a lot, having good role models in your life, and that for me is my priority.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously you fill a lot of time in just doing stuff with her.
Yeah, just having a baby.
Chilling.
Yeah. That's that's interesting. Tell me, what's the through line? And I'm not questioning you on this. I'm interested. What's the through line on having your creative outlet and that relating to being a good dad at this stage, do you think?
I think it's, for me, it might have been your last podcast with Ben, but you spoke about that like a legacy piece in terms of, you know, having your pod to, you know, heaven forbid if something happened, and you did have a child, it's something pretty amazing to look back at. For me, it's a legacy piece.
Interesting.
I love the ability that I've got to create and the skill I've been given to create. So, I mean, as I said, heaven forbid, you know, if she looked back and she saw all this stuff that I was doing and you know, the stuff that we've just done together with the new designs and stuff like that. That's my thought process around it, and she can look back and go, oh, you know, Dad was doing this. He was trying. He was having a crack.
Because that's obviously like a big. How old are you?
38.
You're 38. And this is going to sound really creepy now going back, but 38. How tall are you?
185.
Yeah, right. How much do you weigh?
85.
Yeah, we're like bang on. I think I'm like 90 and 190 centimeters. Yeah. You have long hip to thigh bones as well. Yeah, dude, we're just older than me. We're the same. That's crazy. Yeah. So you would have really, you're probably super comfortable doing squats.
Yeah.
And like doing deadlifts, but your body didn't work doing deadlifts. You're always hitting your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'm glad we got that sorted.
Yeah. Got that out of the road.
But yeah, so I think like we're both, well, you're born in the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 92, you're 87, right? So we're of that time frame of like in school, unless you were good at drawing, you didn't draw.
Yeah.
Right? There was no encouragement to be like, go try something new.
Yeah.
It was you either had a talent or you didn't.
Yeah.
You know? So now did you find your creativity later, or have you always been quite?
Did it all through school.
Okay.
Did it for a year post school studying, hated it, and then gave it away for, I reckon, a decade before I kicked back in.
Yeah. And now it's like this thing that is probably just rewarding you every time you do it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely, mate. As you know, it's like, it's pretty cool seeing your stuff out there. Like it's still surreal, and I think it hit me the other day when, you know, you delivered the box of the new stuff. It kind of felt again like it was my first opening the first box of Jake's Apple, and it's just like that excitement to see other people wear it. And it's pretty cool. Like, you know yourself. Yeah.
That thing where you go like here to here, like you go from your mind to your hands, and then hands with a whole bunch of steps into reality, and then the normalization of it in reality.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's actually pretty easy if you're that way inclined to go, I think that would look cool. I'm going to make that. Yeah. I'm going to figure out all right, I've made it. And then you're like, your mum wears it, and your best friend wears it, and your family members wear it.
Yeah.
But then when you see someone who you don't know go like, I fuck with what you do, I'm going to wear it.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they're still wearing it. And then you find out they're like, oh yeah, I wear this shirt every weekend. You're like, oh wow, like that means something to you, you know. It meant something to me then, but that meaning something to someone else gives it this other layer, you know. And it's like that. I think that creativity element, like I'm quite a late bloomer as far as creativity is concerned. I was not creative, I don't think. When I look back, I'm like, oh, I had this. Sorry, the perception of my own creativity came later.
Yeah,
I understood that I was creative younger when I had retrospective observation of it later.
Yeah,
you know? And I think when you sort of look at that like creative trajectory and you realize that it is the 1% every day, that's what you're working for. It is that thing. And then sort of like hoping that project, that creative part of you that started as like sketching a cube and ended as drawing a lifelike person. Yeah. That when your daughter's old enough to know what that means, to then go, oh, this is what he was doing. Yeah. Then at that time when I was just a baby, you know, and like then they get to go through all these things that you're going through and then go and have their child and they're trying to create. Yeah, it's so interesting. I don't feel like my parents were, and my mum listens avidly to all these podcasts. I love you, mum, and this isn't a negative thing, but I don't think my parents were particularly creating anything for me to look back on other than having really cool memories. Yeah. You know?
Which is awesome.
Yeah, like, it's amazing. 100%.
What about in school? Were you sort of, what kind of subjects were you focused in on or interested in?
Bro, not getting in trouble. Yeah. That was my topic.
Like
that was fully dialed in, just like, dude, we got an hour ahead of us. Yeah. We're just going to sit still. We're not going to interrupt anyone. You know, that's the goal. Yeah. Fucking 3 minutes in, you're like making fart sounds and you're throwing shit across the room. And dude, I moved school so many times that I feel like I never really had time to like actually settle into shit. The only thing that stands out in primary school was I had this one really good teacher who, her name was Mrs. Dolman, in like year 3 or 4, and she told me that God put heaps of effort into creating us, so we got to put heaps of effort into being good at religion.
Yeah, wow.
So the one, out of all my books, I had this one religion book that every time you ruled it up, it was perfect. Yeah. You know, you thought about all your letters as you were writing, you know, you're doing everything so perfectly. And that sort of stands out as like the first time that I was like, that's like, I really care about this thing, but not necessarily I'm good at it, you know? Yeah. And then nothing until like high school was just trying to stay alive and English. I like English. Yeah. You know? But it's weird now to, like, I don't know about you, but school feels like 3 lifetimes ago.
Yeah, I try and think about parts from that section of my life, and I don't have many memories of it. Yeah. I remember being in art class, and I remember being like the only guy in the class.
True.
Yeah, this was like year 12 art, and it was like all my mates were off doing what was called engineering trades at the time, so all off trying to do their pre-apprenticeship type of stuff, and I was like literally the only bloke in there doing art, so it was kind of
wild
weird.
Head start, by the way. You like, dude, I remember back then everyone would like hang shit on you for being like the only dude in the class full of girls, and now you're like, brother, are you fucking kidding me? I was talking to him because I had to, exactly. You know? Yeah, it's nuts. Was that your, like, at that point, were you like, art might be my thing?
I was definitely leaning towards that. My dad is a plumber, and both my brothers are actually plumbers by trade. Okay. Has his own business, and for me, that was always, I suppose, there as a, you know, you can do this, you can come into the family business and do your trade, but I just never had an interest in it other than school holidays.
Yeah,
jumping in with Dad and doing 2 weeks with
making
him
a bit of
bloody tools and getting
pocket money,
bit of pocket money to drink on the weekends when I was old enough. So that was that. But I think I always had aspirations to go into art, but I soon realised that there wasn't the money in it.
Yeah, it was an interesting time as well because it was right before you could make money off art.
Yeah,
you know, like I feel like now, I've always sort of, since this iteration of Black Ink and Outfit Co, I've decided like I'm never work for someone again. Yeah. If this doesn't work, this thing that I'm doing, there's so many like sort of side skills that you could do. One of them specifically is like just doing digital illustrations.
Yeah.
So many people, like essentially what I did for your logo, where it's like people come to me and they're like, oh, I've got this bit of artwork that's AI generated or it's drawn on an iPad or it's whatever. It's just a low res single layer thing. The amount of people that need those digitized that you can charge whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like just that alone. There's so many like, especially digital avenues, even in the world of, I mean, this may age poorly, but even in the world of AI, there's still so much art to be monetized on the internet.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, but we're talking, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
When it's like, good luck.
Yeah. There was just for me, there was no clear pathway.
Yeah. What's the, were you ever musically inclined?
I people that like follow my stuff on Instagram know that a lot of it is inspired by music, and I love music, and I've been lucky enough to do some stuff with just local artists in terms of merch and CD covers and that sort of stuff. Or not that they're around anymore, but I love music, but never musically inclined. What about you?
Interesting. Nah, it's like I don't know. It's like one of those languages that just never. Yeah. But like I don't know.
You get given a recorder, like that's your introduction into music.
It's crazy, you know. I honestly feel like it's I have like a God complex, I guess. I feel like anything that I wanted to be good at, I'd be exceptional at, and I feel like I'm exceptional at business. I feel like I'm exceptional at communication. Those are things that I've chosen.
Yeah.
And music was one of those things where it's like, I get that this sounds very ignorant if you're not of it, but it just the fucking juice isn't worth the squeeze. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like outside of being the guy who can play a piano in a shopping center randomly and like make people go like, wow. You know? If I put that same energy into building a business, I'll buy the piano and the piano player. You know?
Exactly.
Like I know that's a very like cut and dry mechanical way to look at it, but it's like it is just one of those things where like if you're going to practice something for 10,000 hours to become a master of it, make sure you choose the right thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There are people out there who know how to make boots extremely well, but unfortunately there's a cap on how much money you can make making boots, you know? And as like capitalist and what would you call it? I don't know. Shallow, you can well, not everything is about how much money you can make. But you know, it's like, I mean, there is a certain threshold of like lifestyle that we all, spoken or unspoken, aspire to achieve. Yeah. And I like if you're aware of it, you know it when you reach it. You know, like I don't need life to be much better than what it is right now. Life's sick. Yeah. You know, I'd love to make 100 million for sure. Yeah. You know, but it's like I don't think this would have been achievable with music.
No.
You know, it's a weird thing.
It is.
Sorry. Yeah, go.
When did you start like messing around with that digital like designing and, you know, because obviously it's something that I'm terrible at. So yeah, when did you sort of get into that digital sort of design?
Probably around the time I made your website. Yeah, so that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we were living in the caravan.
Yeah.
And like for the new listeners who don't know, the quick story is Black Ink existed for 4 years. Then I had like a 3-year hiatus driving trucks, like road trains. Yeah. Saved up all our money, got in a caravan. We lived in the caravan for about 2 years, and halfway through that time period in the caravan, I was like, right, out of money. I need to go get a job or figure out how to make money online.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think I searched on YouTube, how to make money online, and it was like drop shipping. I think it was just drop shipping. It was drop shipping, and the dude who made the drop shipping video, had like all these other like tertiary videos you could go, and it was like, you know, the top 5 books I would read and the people that I would follow if I was going to start a new Instagram account and the way I'd so I like had all these, like this core idea of drop shipping, and then also these really good references.
Yeah.
And that's when I like started reading. Never read books, didn't understand what the point was. Then you realize, oh, it's my voice telling me this new information, so I take it on board.
Yeah.
And it's amplified if I read it out loud while I walk around. So I'm like, anyway. And one of the things I realized was that these people, my goal was to be able to manipulate a keyboard and a screen so that numbers would increase in my bank account.
Yeah.
Right. So trying to get too technical with it, just move stuff around here and watch that get bigger. That's the whole goal. And I was like, all right, so to do drop shipping, you had to know how to source a product, test it, market it, have a portal, like a website that you can come to and buy my product off me. And you need to be able to have a process where all of those things link together.
Yeah.
And these videos make it sound like get these 3 skills under your belt and you'll be fine. It's not. You need to know how to use multiple creative apps. You know, if you're going to start doing videos, you now need to learn how to like shoot and then edit. And if you're going to talk, you need to learn how to talk. Yeah. Finding the product, you need to learn how to communicate with the sellers. And long answer to a short question. Where that all started, I like realized that the program that everyone kept going back to was Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to do stuff on Photoshop until I learn it. So it was like literally in the caravan, on my laptop, like fucking working on the laptop, which for design is crazy with the trackpad and the keyboard, you know? And yeah, that's where, dude, and it's one of those things now that I look back at it, I'm like, how the fuck did I have the patience to just, like, literally you'd have the first problem and you'd YouTube the exact question, like, how do I color a shape on Photoshop?
Yeah.
And the question's so stupid that they don't have a video tutorial for it. You have to watch like a beginner's like hour-long video so you understand like how to save a project, how to do this, how to resize, the difference between this and that. And that's where it just sort of started. And like, I remember I would get so frustrated because I'm like, my mind knows what I need to have happen. And I'm so green, I don't know if this program has a capacity to do what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, now I know those Adobe Suite does more than what you can imagine, everything. You know? And then, you know, I really focused on Photoshop for about a year until I realized that everything in print is done in Illustrator because it's vectorized, not rasterized. I'm like, fuck, all right, I'll go learn Illustrator, you know? And then the podcast became a thing. So I went and learned Premiere Pro. And then the cool part is if you learn the basics of Adobe, they carry from interface to interface.
Yeah.
So if you know Photoshop, well, you're going to learn Illustrator a lot quicker than if you know nothing.
Yeah.
And then learning Premiere is a lot quicker if you got 2 more under your belt. So if I wanted to go use, you know, Lightroom or other Adobe apps, it's like a
halfway there.
half-day process now. You're just like, I'm going to watch a quick, you know, intermediate tutorial. I'm going to put it, and here's the fucking trick, right? You find those tutorials, you put them on 3.5 speed, put in your headphones, smoke just the littlest bit of weed, and just fucking zone in. Yeah. Just listen and just absorb, and then open it up and start moving around. Because you get 50% of it.
Yeah.
You know, that hour is done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But you've got enough touch points to go like, oh, I kind of know how to use this.
Yeah.
You know, and then the really cool part is, you know, Ash comes along and says, hey, do you build websites? You're like, I've done it before. You know, yes, I know how to build websites. And then through your job, and I think I did like a Hot Shots courier company. I made like probably a dozen websites, and by the 12th one, you're just like, oh yeah, I guess I know how to use Photoshop now, and I know how to use Illustrator, and I know how to use Squarespace and Shopify and all these things. And then also, I now have the capacity to learn. So if I don't know how to do it, I know how to figure out a way to learn how to do it.
Yeah,
you know. And now it's just like, again, it's much like looking at your drawing. I'm like, or your art. I'm never going to be able to get to the point you're at because I've never put in all those like beginner hours.
Yeah,
you know, it's nuts. So yeah, I'm like 5 years into, which is weird when you think about it. As a 28-year-old, I decided that that's what I'm going to focus on now, and it fucking worked. What the fuck?
I know,
nuts.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's cool. It's cool, and it's also like, again, making that decision about, you know, choose the path that you're going to keep going down forever.
Yeah.
I think we're in a time period now that you can pretty safely pick anything with a keyboard and a mouse is going to age well.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Like right now, if someone wanted to get out of their job and get into doing a business, I'd be like, cool, save enough money to last for a month and then spend a month in a dark room like this with a computer and learn AI.
Yeah.
Just learn AI, you know?
Yeah. And I think conversely, people that are resistant to it, they're just the ones that are going to get left behind.
100%.
Like in terms of, I don't know, it's like, there's just people that I chat to that are just so very anti, you know, AI and things like that. But it's like, it's here and it's progressing at a rapid rate. So you either learn a little bit each day and try and adopt what you can to what you're doing now, or look at what you can do in the future based on what's coming.
Dude, this is my thing is always like, you know, when Henry Ford made the production line, and all of a sudden cars went from like a thing that takes a year to make one to like, no, we can make like 1,000 in a year.
Yeah.
And then all the farriers just couldn't fucking believe it. What am I going to do with all these horseshoes? I spent my whole life getting good at this one skill, and now what am I going to do? And that has happened throughout all of the ages, all of the, you know, eras, all of industry. Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You know, but the only thing that is shocking to our generation is that, like, you and I grew up without a phone.
Yeah.
You know, we're sort of like that. I think it's peak. Of course, we're going to defend ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, you understood what it was to be a human before you're a human with a device.
Yeah.
And in that time period, like, to then wind it back, my dad saw milk be delivered by horse and cart in a jug that you got refilled every day.
Yeah.
So you go from that when he was a boy to now where men who have a child, having children, we've experienced such an accelerated rate of progress as compared to our fathers.
Yeah.
You know? So, of course, they're going to go, dude, fuck AI.
Yeah.
No, that's not, this shit's gay, you know? But we're more of the mindset of like, this is just the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, there's a thing after AI.
Yeah.
Like, why would you fight it?
Yeah.
You know? And if you can harness it to the victor, what is it? To the something goes to spoils. Like,
spoils,
brother, like, fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
You know? It's such AI to me is like, I think it's like Bitcoin as well. You don't want to bet the entire house on it, but the longer it goes on, you're like, I might bet some of the house on it. Yeah. You know? Because it could be a bubble. Yeah. Like, have you done much research into the economy of AI?
No.
So you've got, it's really interesting. You've got all these AIs, right? All these AI companies like OpenAI, Grok, and da-da-da.
Yeah.
Then in the center of it all, you've got NVIDIA, who makes the chips to power these AIs.
Yeah.
And it's like a merry-go-round of money. So like OpenAI NVIDIA will invest $400 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI will then buy $400 billion worth of chips off NVIDIA, and then NVIDIA will invest $200 billion over here and $100 billion over here and $100 billion over here, and then they all will buy stocks in each other's company and then buy chips off NVIDIA. So there's all this money going into this economy, and then it's just circling backwards and forwards. Yeah. So you've got, I'm not taking away from the technology.
Yeah. You've
got an inflated economy, like a bubble in that realm of like, all right, it's worth a lot of money, and obviously like everyone's in a race to, you know, get like military grade AI where we can, you know, kill people without you know, losing people. But you've also got this like, I don't know, AI to me, and I use AI most of the day, every day.
Yeah.
It's still like having a conversation with a yes man.
Yeah.
And I get that we get the crumbs of what the government gets access to for sure, but it still just feels like something that strokes the ego of humanity. It doesn't quite feel like it's there, as if it's going to take over humanity. Yeah. What do you think?
I agree, mate. It's just, spot on there with the yes man reference. It's just, I think there's plenty of scope with it, but it's just not quite there in terms of that fear that people have that it is that thing that's going to wipe us out type thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Yeah. I think also like we're very open. We're very understanding of the idea that news is made to get us to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not made to inform us or educate us, you know. And then you've got, you know, your baby boomers who watch it like, can you fucking believe what Pauline Hanson said? Like, yeah, I can. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What's your, so you mentioned before about having good role models. Who would you say your role models are at the moment?
I suppose there's probably different ones depending on the thing I'm looking for guidance on. So just in terms of general, my mum and dad, like really solid role models.
Mum and dad are still together?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Still living on the farm we grew up on, me and my two brothers. So they just, I think they instilled just the basics, like, you know, like hard work, being sensible with money, those sorts of things, good ethics, just be a good person, which is stuff that I try and just work with every day and just try and do the best I can. And as you said, just try and get that little bit better at whatever I'm doing each day.
For sure.
Because it all adds up, right? Like whether it's, you know, you're trying to do it daily or weekly.
Dude, it compounds.
Yeah, it does. Like 100%. Whether it's like you with, you know, you're running, you know what it's like, you know, if you're wanting to get that little bit better, it's like, all right, I need to get 8 hours worth of sleep. I need to eat right. I need to hydrate. And I need to look after my body. Like you spoke about your knee and, you know, you did the right thing there and looking after that. So you just need to do all those. It's the little things that sort of add up to the big gains overall. But it's just.
What was the farm? What did you farm?
So my grandparents, it was my grandparents, my parents and my uncle and auntie lived on 3 farms, like next to each other. Yeah, that's so cool. my grandparents owned the whole lot.
Yeah.
And then kind of split it off, one for us and one
Christmas
one
must be nuts, dude. Fucking family everywhere. That's so
one
cool.
For the folks. So that was just 25 Ks outside of Collie, as if you're heading to Darkin.
Oh, yeah?
So my dad wasn't an active farmer as such, so we had cattle and sheep. My granddad, he was a true blue farmer, did it all. Going back a long way, he lived out there for many years, and then he has retired down here, and he's probably one of my biggest role models. He's someone that I admire greatly based on what he did, and sort of, you know, not just for me, but for my parents and the rest of our family in terms
Huge.
That's a hard graft farming, but he did that, and they kind of moved down here. And big motivation for me is he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's, so I've done a lot of charity stuff for that foundation to try and support.
Yeah, I have like peripheral memory of you doing work for Parkinson's. What do you call it? Money cultivation's not the word.
Raising funds.
Raising funds. Wow, mind blank. What sort of stuff have you done there? Like, how have you raised money for Parkinson's?
So what is it? 3 years ago now, I did a ride. I rode from Albany to Bunbury.
Hectic.
And I'd never ridden a road bike.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I didn't get a road bike. I got a what do you call it? A hybrid or gravel bike.
Yeah.
And I did it on that.
Would have been better off just doing a road bike. Yeah, you would have saved a lot of bloody excess energy on just a road bike. Yeah. The seat is going to suck either way.
Yeah.
That's all you're really saving yourself from is the seat, right?
Yeah. So a few people are like, you did it on a gravel bike.
Did you hit any gravel? You're like, no, I just rode all bitumen.
So I did that 3 years ago. I just had this, I think it deeply affected me seeing what that disease does. And I can be pretty impulsive, but I also, when I do have these thoughts, I want to execute to the best of my ability. So I don't want to go, I'm going to do a ride and just fuck around and make no money.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to do a ride. This is, I'm going to go from Albany to Bunbury.
Yeah.
And then I quickly moved into planning it. So who am I going to get to sponsor me?
Yep.
And I sort of set out a proposal, gold, silver, bronze sponsorship. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This is the foundation the money's going to. So I quickly moved into that mode of how can I make the most money and make this a real success, as well as giving myself only, I think it was 4 months to train, which was fucking scary, man. Like
Albany's hills, right? Have you got hills between? Yeah, and it's like
350.
350. Yeah, right. How long did it end up taking you?
I banked on 3 days, but I pretty much nailed it in 2.
Sick.
And the last day was just like, I rode from my house to the Rose where I finished up, and we had a bit of a piss up.
Sick.
Yeah.
That would have been the easiest way to get pissed as well. You're just fully dehydrated, you're wrecked, you have like 2 beers, you're like, I'm fucking, let's get back.
I actually thought that though. I thought, because I was just cactus the day, I got home the day before, so knowing I only had like, whatever it was, Millbridge to the Rose, 10, 15 Ks to go, like I just passed out that day. But I thought that when I got there, I thought, I'm going to have 2 beers and be cooked.
Yeah.
And it was actually like turned out being like one of the best nights. We're at the Rose. There was like just a really good crew, and ended up back at one of my mates' sheds playing darts till like the early hours of the morning. Like there was like 6 of us, and it was like,
can't plan shit like that.
Nah. And it was like one of the best memories because it was like, yeah, you just unscripted, like loose. Yeah.
That's
good.
sick.
Yeah.
So that must be a bit of a mind fuck. Granddad being this powerful, providing, like I'm guessing full of character, full of life, full of wisdom, full of stories, and then to watch or, take on that information. He's got Parkinson's, and then watch that progress. Talk to me about that. what's that process like?
Oh, you summed it up there. Like, I think it's that, that masculine, like I've always known him as he's built like a Roo dog, like that typical farmer, like, and had that farmer strength, and he still is now. And that's why it's probably hard, because I look at him and he's like, you look at him and you go, he's in great nick, like physically, strong guy, but it's like it just attacks like the central nervous system and your motor skills. So for me, that's the part that's really hard to absorb and quite confronting, to see like one of your role models, just battle with the basic shit, like, having a coffee.
Dude.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. Like it's, it's very cruel. So, same as dementia. Like it's like, it attacks very similar parts.
Yeah, we're sort of going through that at the moment with a family member. And it went from like, I don't know, it was like on the table for a while. And, because, they do like you go to your GP.
Yeah.
The GP's like, apple, yesterday, translucent.
Yeah.
And then they have a whole 15-minute session. They said, what are the 3 words that I told you at the beginning of the thing? And if they're like, I didn't even know you said 3 words, it's like, that's a first step towards. So we had that news earlier. I want to say like 6 months ago, but I also thought your baby was 3 months old, so it could have been longer, right? But it seems to be a pretty rapid thing that's happening. And then like, obviously because of the podcast, I'm not going to get crazy about the details, but there's been like a new thing that's been identified that has nothing to do with that, but is also a life-threatening sort of thing. And it's like now the decision for her is, do you want to wait for this or do you want to wait for that? And like, this is a powerful woman.
Yeah.
This is a woman who like, not a lot of women could kick my ass as a child. Mum was very strong. Mum was very soft, but she was also very strong. Like, and and she was the same. She, you go around there and you could be cheeky and run amok, but she wouldn't even raise her voice. She'd be like, fuck, I know. Yeah, all right, I'll chill out. And now to like think that she's, walking around the house, and just that idea that she walks into the room, she's like, what'd I come in here for? You're like, oh, man, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Gut-wrenching.
Yeah, it sucks, It sucks. And I think it just gives you that understanding, because like I'm 33. I turned 33 last Monday. I'm just got enough fucking wherewithal to like be able to have a constant thought for a few hours.
Yeah.
Up until like 30, it was like just fucking keep moving and fucking and doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And now it's like, I'm getting into this, and you can probably speak a bit more to this, through your 30s. I feel like you get a bit more just like, oh, okay, I can sleep for 8 hours. It's okay. The world's not going to stop. And, and then having these sorts of things happen forces you to think about, you can avoid it, but I don't know. I like to look at the sun and chew glass. So you think about it. You're like, what if it happens to mum?
Yeah.
What if it happens to me? you know, and what if I have to help someone else going through this, and how do I have that conversation with my grandma, and how do I, you know, then you see little things you see things happening to other people, or you see reels on Instagram, or, you know, you talk to people like this conversation, and it forces you to sort of like keep on filling in these parts of the human experience that you thought you would never have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm extremely lucky. My parents are still alive. I'm still alive. Everything's going really well. There are people out there that lost their parents that never knew their parents because they passed away, or, you know, dad ran away, or, you know, this or that, you know. And I guess that just that idea that the concept of mortality being challenged in a concept or a way that you never really thought was going to be your problem to deal with, and then it is your problem.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah. It's hard.
They said growing up was going to be hard. I didn't think it was like this. I thought they meant like tax.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I can handle tax. Tax is fine. It's a number.
Once
you
a
know?
year.
Yeah. But it's such a, I don't know. So what's where do you fit in the three boys? You're the
eldest.
You're the eldest. Yeah. All right. So you're the eldest by how much?
2. So it's like 2 between us, or 2 years between us. Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah, that's cool. So you were doing all the teaching. You were handballing all the information down.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so they're both still plumbers?
Yeah.
They work with dad?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And is that your dad's business?
Yeah.
What business is that?
Ash Griggs Plumbing.
Ash Griggs Plumbing. Interesting. And is it just the three fellas, or there other people in the business as well?
No, there's others. So my mum's in the business now. She does obviously all the back end admin stuff.
Yeah.
And then what's he got? I think there's 3 tradies and an apprentice.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! So this
like
is
a casual dude as well.
Yeah, an apprentice. Yeah, right. So this is you can almost have to pay payroll tax. This is pretty big.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he does all the so he's contracted. He's got the contract to Worsley.
Yeah.
So my middle brother, he pretty much looks after. He's at Worsley every day doing all the jobs out there with another tradie. Right. And then my youngest brother, he does all the domestic jobs in town.
Wow.
Surrounds. So
is this Bunbury base or Collie?
Collie, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's so cool. And do all 3 of you boys play footy back in the day?
Yeah.
Who did you play for?
Well, I played for, we obviously grew up in Collie, so we all played for Collie. Yep. And then I continued playing for Collie for a number of years and just kept travelling back. But then I changed to, I played for Bunbury in 2019 and then through to sort of last year.
Yeah, right. What was the catalyst there for hanging the boots up? Just
age.
Yeah. Body wasn't having it?
I think I'd probably... I think you got a lifespan playing at that sort of level. Like the Southwest is a pretty decent competition. I was playing Resi's footy, but it's still like a good level of competition.
You're still also running around and...
Yeah, and it's pretty brutal. Like, so by the time I'd finished, I was 36, which is a pretty good lifespan, to be honest.
For sure.
And it wasn't like... I could still run, I could still kick and all that sort of stuff, and I felt okay. But it was like the waking up the next day and it felt like I'd been hit by a truck because your body just doesn't absorb the contact as well.
Yeah,
like it can do all the rest. Training, I'd pull up fine the next day because I looked after myself. But it was like that physical bash and crash that probably just like was like, fuck, this isn't any fun anymore, you know.
I watched Croft play in the grand final this year.
Yeah.
And like I've not really, I don't think I've ever been to a live football game before that. Like if I have, it's a very vague memory. I remember sitting there being like, these guys are unnecessarily physical with each other, hey? Like the ball's down the other end of the field and they're fucking running into each other like, brother, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. You know? But it's footy shit. I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd actively walk the other way when it came to footy my whole life.
Yeah.
Again, God complex. I believe if I had picked up a footy at the right age, it'd be different.
Yeah.
But dude, are you fucking kidding me?
Playing AFL.
Dude, I don't want to get into it yet, probably. Nah, I don't know. But yeah, it's AFL does seem to be just a very like rough and tumble. It's a boys' sport. It's the perfect example of an Australian boys' sport is what it is. Yeah. You know? It's in the elements. It's, you know, like the wearing fuck all is also hilarious to me. You know, like these boys go out, the shorts are like this short. In any other context, shorts that short are gay, right? But if they're footy shorts, they're footy shorts. He plays for Bunbury. What do you mean? He's fine. You know, it's such a and it's I can understand, because I feel like as much as like I'm fit in quotations, like, dude, you want to see me slow down to go around the corner when I run. Like, I fully slow down. I think about where my feet are. Like, where's my weight? All right, slow. Okay, now we'll speed back up. Like, dude, I'm a bitch, you know? Yeah, that's
But yeah, footy was like a big part of our lives. Like on the farm, like we had rough and tumble. Like Dad made a like our footy oval was gravel, right? And it might get like a little bit of grass grow over it in the winter, but it was like a gravel footy field with like a couple of sets of goals at each end. And that was us, like, every day, just, like, beating the shit out of each other. And
of course, yeah.
So that was, like, where the love for it came, like, because it was just us three. And then later in life, when we got to play together, it was obviously that sort of, you know, you're not in the backyard anymore, but it still felt the same. Like, it was pretty cool.
So
like,
you would have played with your brothers?
We played, I think we might have played 4 league games altogether. And then played like a mixture of, you know, 2 of us might have played league and 1 played resis. And
that's so cool.
But to do it once, like I was like, fuck, I could, you know, I would happily retire tomorrow knowing, you know, that we did that. And like it was one of the best memories, like just us running out together.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
At that level as well. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. There is definitely a camaraderie to football that like seems to be unmatched.
Yeah.
You know, like I've, you know, in cycling and skating, it's you still like only one person wins.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like as much as like you're on a team and like this is your job in the team, it's like very cool. Unless I'm getting the medal.
Yeah.
There's not a team sport, you know? And yeah, you're just listening, and like obviously my sort of break into football was talking to Croft and then having Durack on the pod and then going and watching the boys play the grand final and experiencing the you know the coin toss and the run out and it's so cool, you know, and you're just like, fuck, there is something there that like I'm an only child as well, dude. Like I barely know what it's like to have a friend. So it's that thing, you look at that, you're like, these boys, regardless of if it's only 1 year, they have that year where they relied on each other, showing up to training and going to games and doing the thing and, you know, it's just, it's fascinating to be honest.
Yeah. Did you, obviously I've listened to a lot of the pods and know your story around skating, but did you sort of partake in any other sports when you were growing up or have an interest in any?
So I did taekwondo when I was really young.
Yeah.
But one of those things that you were doing it because mum just wanted you to do something.
Yeah. Get out the house.
It was like something you did on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But no, we moved to Bunbury when I was 10. The first friend that I made, Adam Rollinson, said, you should come to the rink on Saturday. And I went to the rink probably for like 2 months. It may have been the first time I went. It was within that first block, and the dude running the session, Andrew Roberts, is like, you should try speed skating. And like tried it, and immediately just like out of the kids who were trying it, I was the best. Yeah. And then once I started I just, you know, climbed through all the skaters in Bunbury, which at the time was a lot.
Yeah, right. Like, it was popular.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Really?
Dude, the general session, so I'm 33. The general session 23 years ago was like 100 people every Saturday and Sunday.
What was driving that, do you reckon? Like at that
Andrew Roberts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Andrew Roberts.
Yeah.
Andrew Roberts is a flawed man, right? Those who know Andrew Roberts, and Andrew, if you're listening, I'm not hesitating in saying this. He is a flawed man, but he has some amazing skills around harboring community and collecting sponsorship. I know those two things don't have a clear through line, but in that particular instance, he was an asset to the rink because he was really good at getting businesses to sponsor the rink and put their signs up in the rink. And he was exceptionally good at running these general sessions where he would then look for the talent.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, that kid's quick, get him in speed skating. Yeah. That girl's good at bloody this and that, get her into artistic skating. That kid's good, have you tried hockey? He was that guy.
Yeah.
And for everything that he wasn't good at, he got 3 of us to world championship level in 7 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like he was, And even now, like he's not a speed skater's coach's arsehole. He just was really good at doing enough stuff consistently. Yeah. Like the one thing you can't take away from him is you would see him 5 times a week for training and he'd be there early and leave late.
Yeah.
He made all of your programs. He'd follow up on all of your diet. He was so fucking good at just being almost like a father figure in a sporting sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, once he got a hold of me in speed skating, that was like, I was training twice a week. And then I sort of, it sounds like I'm ringing my own bell. Anyone in the skating world sort of knows I was that good at skating that I organically went across to figure skating and was also good at that. That really benefited speed skating. I think within 2 or 3 years, we were then doing cross training for cycling. I was also that good at cycling that I would compete in cycling as well. Never winning anything, but I was always super competitive.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm training like once or twice a week on the bike and I can compete on the weekends doing this. I fucking will. And then, got to 17. I've been on the Oceania team, which is where you represent Australia in the Oceania region against like Asia and New Zealand and stuff. And then that same year got picked on the world team. After that got what do you call it when the government gives you a grant type thing?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I used that to get to Europe, and it was meant to be a 3-week trip, and I ended up staying there for a year and getting full sponsorship and housed and the shit. And then at the end of that, it's like 10 days after my 18th birthday, I was like, I'm like 5 years away off being a world champion, and I don't think I've got 5 months left in me.
Far out.
I just came home and stopped altogether, and then like got into boxing and did a little bit of running back then as well. And then just stuff that you do with friends, really. So my whole, like, if I were to, like, still now, if I was to get all of the sporting I've ever done, put it in a blender, the average thing that would come out is still skating.
Yeah.
Did
you struggle with that, like missing that competitive aspect once you'd done, or were you just that cook that you were like, no, I can't?
Dude, what's crazy? This is hilarious. You may even know me well enough through the podcast to see how this is funny. I was driving with Riz the other day, and I was like, we're talking about something. I'm like, I've just come to realize, like, I'm very competitive. She's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, no, like, I understand now. I always thought I was like competitive-ish, but I get now that I'm extremely competitive.
Yeah.
Like when the boys beat one of my segments on the run, like when I came home, I had like a 45-minute discussion with ChatGPT where I cried twice about it. Like I'm that competitive. Even when I was skating, I didn't think I was that competitive.
Yeah.
When I finished skating, I didn't think I was that competitive. In my mind, I was never a competitive person. I actually thought, I'll give you a long answer here. I remember the first time my dad bought me a motorbike when I was really young.
Yeah.
He bought me a Honda XR80. And this is like when I was in Port Hedland, which is where we were before we moved here. So let's say 8 or 9 years old. And I'd ride this motorbike around. And also my experience on 2 wheels before that was a push bike. Right? So I ride this motorbike around. I had one ridiculous crash where I was looking across at our dog playing with a balloon. I look forward again, and one of the truck drivers, so this is in a transport yard, big transport yard, one of the truck drivers parked their car in the car park, and I ran into the back of it. Just completely ran into the back of it, and like, fucked the bike up, fucked me up. I ran and hid behind a donger because I was scared my dad was going to fucking... Which he did. It wasn't unwarranted. And like that was sort of like, all right, cool. I'm not that good at riding motorbike. Maybe, I don't know. I've only ridden a motorbike for like 10 hours at this point.
Yeah.
If he takes me to the motocross track and I'm sort of puttering around and I'm like, get to the whoops and I'm like, get to the soft sand. I'm like, I don't know if I'm meant to go fast or slow. And I get to the jumps and I'm rolling over it and that sort of thing. And came back to the car and he's like, yeah, nah, don't have it, eh? Don't have it. You can see the evil in the real motocross boy's eyes. You don't have it. I remember it clear as day. Yeah. And it was, now it was crushing. It was crushing, I was like, my dad's a bad man. He's a fucking scary dude. I'm like, I'm not it.
Yeah.
That's fine. I must be something else because I'm not that.
Yeah.
And that translated through my entire competitive career of going to world championships, representing Australia, like wearing the colours on your back. And I was like, I'm still not a competitive guy.
Yeah.
Like I love to win, but I don't love to win like some people do.
Yeah.
What I've come to realize is those some people that I'm referencing have the exact same mindset.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want to believe it, because the competitive nature of themselves would be that they have to be more competitive than what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? There is nothing that is great enough that's achievable that would ever fill that void of I need to fucking win.
Yeah.
Right? Like in the context of this podcast is already better than what I ever thought it could be. And I'm still not satisfied. I'm still like, fuck, I need something in the back here. I'd really like higher resolution cameras. I'd love a center camera so we can do the wide angle and all these, I need to come up with an email to send to people that are going to come on so they know what to expect when they come around. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That extremely competitive thing is only like a very recent in the past 2 weeks realization that it's not like competitive or like, oh, he's pretty competitive. I feel like I am the nth degree of what competitive nature is. And when I look back at it, in terms of skating, when I quit, my biggest problem that I was facing was who am I if I'm not a skater?
Yeah.
Because the one thing I never considered I never considered I would be is someone with a job.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like what the fuck else were you gonna do? So that whole like competitive conversation is like something I'm pretty actively like processing in my mind still.
Yeah.
But do you think you're a competitive person?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound convincing, but yeah, I am. Yeah. I think I think I've had a crack at a lot of things in my life, and I only do them to try and be the best at it. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to just do it I don't do stuff just for the sake of doing it. I want to do it, and I want to do it to the best of my ability. I may not end up being the best at it, but I will give, everything of myself to give myself the best shot. So I think that is a competitive mindset. And I think I am in business. Like I'm rather competitive. But yeah, in sport as well. Like I've just got that desire. And I think since I've stopped doing like footy and stuff like that, where there is that pure competition, like running out to try and, win a game or do something like that, it's like I struggled with that when I gave it up. Like I missed that, go out and...
Yeah, see, I think you've like, obviously, like we know each other to a degree, right?
Yeah.
We've probably had like face-to-face conversation, under 10 hours of conversation, I've known of you peripherally for, Jake's Appleco is 13 years old?
10.
10 years old?
Yeah.
Right. Now, my earliest memory of you was like, you're the competition.
Yeah.
You're the other guy with a brand in town that, it's either me or you, which crazy, but... And I think competitive nature is very apparent when the timeline is super long.
Yeah.
So the fact you've been doing something for 10 years, like how many times has it been easy to go like, fuck, I'm not doing this shit anymore? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like how many times do I get kicked in the face with sales or buy too much shit that I don't end up selling, or people don't fuck with this, or I make this thing and it doesn't get any response, or I don't have the metrics that I want on social media. Like how many times is it easy to quit and you don't?
Yeah.
Like that's a real measure of like, oh yeah, you want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to win. It's not a case of like, oh, at what point do I fail? You're like, no, failing only happens if I stop.
Yeah.
I'm not stopping.
No.
Yeah. So I think you've got that intrinsically in your nature anyway, of like that competitive, like, yeah, I'll just keep pivoting until I get the crown, right?
Result. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably a good summary. And like it's, yourself, it's fucking hard. Like I've had some times where I've been like, what is this, like, has this served its purpose? Do I still need to go on with this Jake's Apple sort of stuff? Like I've had those thoughts because, the things you mentioned, sales, or I'm not getting the traction or engagement on social media, so I get frustrated. It's like, but then you just keep backing up and you keep doing what you're doing really well, and then you try and find ways to evolve and pivot. That's what I've done. Like along the way, it started as this thing, and same as you. Like you've gone in many different directions versus what it first was.
100%.
And it's, if you want to hang around, you have to do it. Like you have to get better, and you have to find different skills and niches to try and stay in business. Otherwise, it's just like catch you later.
Yeah, yeah. There's I feel like there's the brute force of doing the same thing over and over until everyone understands.
Yeah.
Or which like has its place. Or there's the like, I don't really think that a franchise coffee van is that good. I'm going to go independent.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've gone independent, like, oh, I'm going to make myself some uniforms. Wait, you guys like the uniforms? Well, I'm going to print more of the uniforms and sell them as merch.
Yeah.
Well, these guys really like the merch. Okay, what if I design this? Okay, you like it. What if I design that? Or you don't like that? Okay, let's do more of this, but let's do it in this. I'm going to have an opening party. Okay, you like it when I have an opening party. You like events. Let me do some events. Okay, so you like it. All of a sudden, you're like, hound, fuck the coffee. I like making shirts and doing events.
Yeah.
You know? And all of us, like that all of a sudden moment where you're like, oh, I bought a franchise coffee van X amount of years ago or months ago, but I've got, let's call it data sets, right? So you've got like, I sell 100 cups a day. It makes this much money. And on the scale of like, it makes this much money, it's this fun, it takes this much time, everything has like a place, right? The podcast takes heaps of time, makes not a lot of money. I have a lot of fun, right? Making high-vis shirts takes a medium amount of time, not that long, makes a lot of money. It's not very fun, you know? So going back to the original analogy, you go, okay, I like it when I see people wearing my stuff. That's cool. I like it when I have the opening party and there's people literally, I mean, going back however many years, knocking on my garage door like, is this the right house? And you open it up and they got all the racks and you got the barbecue going. You're like, fucking, this is sick.
Yeah.
This is sick. You know, didn't make much money at the time, but I really like that feeling.
Yeah.
So you're getting this data where you're like, okay, well, if I close my eyes and it was a perfect world, what would it look like? You're like, well, I'd have 10 times the amount of people, 5 times the amount of clothes. So I definitely sell out. There's that urgency to buy more next time. And I would charge maybe 150% of what I'm charging. So it's a profitable endeavor.
Yeah.
And then you start working towards that.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that when you stay in something long enough, you collect enough data to go, okay, on this iteration, we're going to do, you know, out of this that did really well and that didn't do really well, we're going to do more of this and less of that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and inject more stuff that I like doing and that is fun and hopefully that makes money and gives me enough data. So on the next iteration, I have better data.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that comes back to it's not about me winning, it's about me not quitting.
Yeah.
You know, and quitting only results in failure when I completely stop and go, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, because you probably heard me say this a dozen times on the podcast, I've done everything that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm really good at the shit that doesn't work. I'm just a little bit better at the shit that does.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like this year we bought a $3,000 bit of equipment that we used for 15 minutes and then we're like, fuck, we didn't need this, you know, and bought it at the worst time. But then you go, all right, well, the next time I'm going to spend 3,000. In fact, the next time I'm going to spend anything over 500, we're going to do a deeper dive because I had Mum, Riz and me sit in this room and like really go through why do we need to spend this money?
Yeah.
Well, it would do this, it would do this, it would do this, it would do this. There was one question we didn't ask that meant we had one bit of data we didn't collect, which led to a decision that was made that ended up being a bad decision. And it was, so for background, the bit of equipment was a dual heat press.
Yeah.
It's got one heat head that goes down onto 2 platens, right? We've got 2 individual heat presses, right? 2 heat presses, 2 platens. Which means that you can be loading one while the other one's being pressed.
Yeah.
So in theory, you go, okay, it's exactly the same thing, except it's got one thing and it actually raises off the platen, which means you can load that platen heaps easier because you're not like ducking under right? So you're like, that's cool. The one thing we didn't ask is how often when we use 2 individual heat presses are both heat plates down at the same time.
Yeah, okay.
Because the one thing the double can't do is have 2 heat plates down at the same time. It can only ever have one. It only has one. So we thought we would increase efficiency with this when we slowed it down with it instead.
Yeah.
What question did we not ask there, guys?
Yeah.
You know? And that's, again, a very like...
learning.
We're not going to get, you know, tactile into how that went wrong.
Yeah.
But that is quite an obvious thing of like, all right, do a 50 shirt job right now and let's actually do the times and all that. And if we had done that physically, done that test, we would have learned that out of the 50 shirts, there's over an hour where both of those heat plates are down at the same time.
Yeah.
Which means that by getting the new piece of equipment, it's an hour longer.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we totally have a utility for that heat press now, because this is the point that I'm making. I'm glad you brought it up. So this is the pivot point, right?
Yeah.
So you go, okay, do we have a heat press that's completely unusable now?
Yeah.
No, we have a heat press for someone who works at a slower rate. We have a heat press that you would use as the backup, which we literally did last night. And it's cool this is coming up right now, because last night Riz was using 2 heat presses.
Yeah.
And I was using the third one while I was also operating the printer. So every time a print came off the printer, I was literally cutting it off the end of the sheet.
Yeah,
you give her one, second one to me, third one to her, fourth one to me. So we're getting 4 shirts done in the time of essentially 1.5, 2.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. So to sort of recap where this came from, to be able to collect enough data and then to use that data to make your next decision. And even if the decision doesn't directly align with the trajectory that you're heading, being able to use that decision as another data point to make better decisions in the future.
Yeah.
That's the real A, competitive thing, and B, that's a shit that wins.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? It's such a mystical thing to try and explain to people who A, aren't trying to have that conversation at all in their lives.
Yeah.
And I think the really fascinating part of having this conversation with yourself is that when you do find the unicorns of other people like yourself, like your Ben Lloyd-Smith is a great one, Geordie Gianfrancesco is a great one, Jimmy Giarchi is a great one, these people that are also internally having these conversations.
Yeah.
And then to see like where they're at with their progress. Yeah. And so like, like at the moment I was going to say what I'm going through at the moment, but it's a little bit fucking raw with the elements that are involved, so I won't get into it. But you're all at this different stage of that conversation, and then to like cross thread
through
those things, and like, hey, Geordie, I'm going through this. What do you think? Fuck, bro, don't worry about that. Do this.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. I just jumped a year ahead of that thought process. Yeah. I feel like I'm talking so much, dude. I'm sorry.
No, it's conversation, mate, and that's what I came here for. I think it's probably the most in-depth we've sort of got, because we have had interactions over the years, and as you said, it's probably under 10 hours when you think about total chat time. So it is for me, as much a learning about you and what you do as vice versa.
I'm glad.
But yeah, back to the competitive side, I don't think people ask me like if I look at other I suppose brands or things as competition. It's more that, and you might be the same, it's just competition against myself and what the brand was yesterday or last year and what it is now. So I don't look at other stuff really and go, I want to be like that, or why isn't my brand like that? And yeah, it's interesting. I just focus on what I do and try and do the best I can with it. And I don't really pay much attention to other stuff going on, or like I'm not competing against other brands like like there's ones in Perth that have hung around for a long time, like Ollie and Street X obviously and stuff like that do their thing on massive scale, and you do think, oh fuck, why can't I be like that kind of scale at times? But it's like, no, I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm different, and I'm having an impact in the community, which is my big thing is the community piece. And similar to what you're doing stuff with good people, running little businesses or ventures. And it's like, that to me gives me a lot more fulfillment than, I'd love scale, don't get me wrong, and be making a shitload of money. But the fulfillment you get in working with local business is pretty cool. Like,
huge.
The community is what my brand's about, essentially.
Dude, you want to see me in my element? Come to Bahlu on a weekday morning at like 6:30, 7:30.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. I love it. You know what I mean? Like I love Bahlu, and then I love, you'll see Carmelo from E&M come in.
Yeah.
Done his uniforms, turn into a friendship. Yeah. Awesome. To a lesser extent, and I've had a conversation with like Andrew Larder from LGM about doing their uniforms, and even though like we haven't done business, like I get to like, there's someone who's really done a great thing with their business in the community. They run a really powerful company, and like I can see me and him. You know what I mean? Like I know it's nowhere near what his experience is, but it's like I'm on the same path. I'm just 40 steps behind. Yeah, and then seeing even Courtney and Mia who are in their second or third year of just like, what the fuck, guys, this is cool. You know,
Killing
this is not just a cafe. It's like people come here and like
community
connect, you know, and it's like having that just on repeat every day. And it's like, you know, you mentioned scale, like for sure. Like I have an infinite amount of goals to achieve. But as I said, like if I maintain this forever, it's also pretty fucking cool. Yeah. You know, like this is really nice, you know, and I think there's more. And this is, you know, this is something poor people say, is my defense to what I'm about to say, but I think there's more value to having half a dozen really quality connections at Bahlu during the week than it is having, you know, 50,000 18-year-olds wanting to buy your shirt with the same print on it. Yeah. You know, and love Street X, Dan is a fucking North Star in his own right, but I practice gratitude for the things that I have, and that, you know, there is something cool to being the semi-celebrity of Bunbury compared to an actual celebrity of Perth. Yeah, you know, so pretentious to say that. I'm such a dickhead, eh?
But no, it's true, mate. Like it's just and it's that piece, like you chat pretty passionately about Bunbury. And I do as well because of the support that I've had, like with the brand. And it's like, you know, people realise like this guy is having a crack and he's doing his thing and doing something a little bit different. So, you know, I support him. And I think that's something that's came throughout the 10 years is just like that constant support, whether it be,
for sure,
you know, come and do an exhibition at our winery or, it's just a cool community and you always feel supported.
Yeah. I believe Bunbury's at that perfect population though. Yeah. 100,000 people in greater surrounds. Yep. And it's like, it's just the right amount of people where you can, like, if you're new to Bunbury, Josh Wood actually, who's unreleased podcast at the moment, he spoke about coming to Bunbury like 4 years ago or something. And he's like, man, within 6 months, I had a friends group. I had people inviting me to shit. You know, I went to my first ride because he's a cyclist. Went to my first ride and I had people saying like, "Oh, come to this group ride, that group ride. Yeah. What are you doing on Thursday? I'll take you around and show you Ferguson Valley on the bike, and we'll do this and we'll do that." Bunbury just has something about it. Yeah. That people are like, yeah, fucking hunker down, bro. Yeah. Get a second coffee. Yeah. You know, I fully understand what you're saying there. Like Bunbury is such a supportive. I don't know what you call it. It's like a character trait of Bunbury is supporting people who are giving it a shot. Yeah. You know. What's you spoke about wanting to start a business last time we properly had a chat, like rucking. Is there any? Am I confusing it with someone else?
I'm trying to think. I haven't been rucking for ages. I feel bad.
Yeah, Friday morning is a terrible time to do that, boys. I want to go, but I've always had 4 other things that I'm invited to. You know.
I think I've had different ideas along the way in terms of where I can work towards next in terms of career aspirations. So obviously the Jake's Apple stuff is very much a side project, and I think I love having it as that. Yeah. I think during COVID, I reckon I was starting to make fairly good money out of it, and I thought, could it be an opportunity? And then obviously post-COVID, like obviously people went back to their normal spending habits and being able to holiday internationally and domestically. So that kind of fell out a little bit, and I noticed that drop in sales. But I think I love having this as just a side hustle because so much of it for me is based on being in the right zone and headspace to create. And if I was forcing myself, like I feel bad, but I knock back a lot of work because I don't feel I connect with it. So I don't feel I can give it my best, the best of me. Yeah. So I knock it back, or I'm time poor with having obviously a day job. But so much of creating for me is based on like where I'm at mentally, emotionally, and
of course
being in that zone. Yeah. So for me, if I was to put pressure on myself and go, I'm going to do this full time, I'm sure I'd do it because same as you, I've got that will and desire. Yeah. But it's like, I love it for what it is. And it's like, for me, it's like this thing that I can go to when I want to retreat to.
It's so interesting. I think having the power to say no to a creative thing it's a skill, dude. Yeah. It's a skill. So I believe there's two ways you handle those situations, right? Someone comes to you, they're like, oh, fucking this, that, the other. And you're like, your gut is like, no, I'm not at all interested. I don't care. I don't really, I understand your passion. I know you had a vision of me being a conduit of what you're thinking, but it's not me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's like two things there. It's either no or what is the dollar figure that I would do it for that would make me enthusiastic.
Yeah.
You know? And that's being able to say no is extremely hard.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's someone validating your skill and you're saying no to that validation.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of you, the competitive part goes, what, can't you do it? You can't do it? Yeah. Okay. No, that's all right. You can't do it. So he couldn't do this job in, you know. And then the other part is like, I do it for 10 grand.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I really was only budgeting 5. And you're like, yeah, and I didn't want to do it. But if you give me 10 grand, I'll do the fuck out of it, you know? And it's funny, like putting that into real world for me was like having that sort of, you know, funnel of like taking on work. I get it all the time, especially this time of year. Hey, dude, can you do fucking 10 shirts in 48 hours? And you're like, here's what I can do. Here's what I can do. I can say yes now, and then we'll fuck around with your artwork for at least 2 hours. We'll get that right. And then you're going to tell me that you want like fire red shirts, not black. So I've got to source them, pay for them, pick them up, bring them back. I've then got to print, press, go through all of our shit, pack and deliver. So you're asking for something that respectively, like that job might take me when I'm ordering it normally, you know, an order takes 15 minutes. When it arrives, it gets checked off, gets opened and processed, goes into a pile. I print, that's part of heaps of other prints, so, you know, an hour. The whole job might take an hour and a half for 10 shirts, right? But you're asking me to do probably 10 hours worth of work, right? What's that 10 hours worth of work worth to me? How much do you want these shirts? So you go, 10 shirts normally cost, I use round numbers because I hate using numbers that people can quote after the fact. So let's say $50 a shirt normally for 10 shirts. You're like, it's $500. You're like, I'll do it for $1,500. You'd be surprised how many people are like, do you want cash or card now? You go, oh, fucking, yeah, cool. Here's the invoice, set it up, and they pay it and you do it. And you know what? I find those shirts like I'm a truffle hound in the middle of the fucking forest finding truffles. Because for $1,500 for 10 shirts,
make it happen.
We're going to Sizzler. You know? That's sick. And that's what that price is for that.
Yeah.
But if they go, oh, no, you're like, now you know how I feel about the job. No, just fucking go somewhere else, you know? And I think that if you have the ability to say, no, I don't fucking vibe with this, which you can do with a side hustle, probably the distinction is when it becomes a full hustle, you go like, well, I'm in the hustle to make money.
Yeah.
I actually don't give a fuck about your shirts, would you believe? Like, it's just the price that I get for doing it. What is that price?
Yeah.
And I think when you can have that relationship with your system and your output, your process, you go like, yeah, look, I've got all the gear to do most of the jobs you want me to do. If it falls into standard operations, we have a fixed price. That price has been made for a particular reason, right? And if you want to accelerate that process, we now get into an emotional price.
Yeah.
You know? And once you start having it, like I used to do that same job for like, I'll do it for $60 a tee instead of 50.
Yeah.
Bro, $60 doesn't get my dick hard, right? I want heaps of money. I want it to be like, all right, cool, you have my attention.
Yeah.
On the other end of that, I had a business come to me the other day. Jake, we want 25 shirts. All right, 25 shirts. I remember the numbers. Don't quote me on this. These numbers may change. CPI, fuck you. Was $38. $38.75 plus GST, right?
Yeah.
So you're at $3.80, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you're at like 40, let's say $42 a shirt. And they're like, oh, can you do any better? I'm like, look, you're friends with this person. I can do, look, how's 38 including GST? And they're like, I'm like, fuck, brother, what? You know? Now, I'm not going to get into the real fucking nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
But I end up doing it for $30 a shirt with a deal on top, right? And I get this in return.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 666, all right. So we need them next week. I'm like, Okay, $30 a shirt. We need them next week. Got it. 30 next week, including GST, by the way. So we're looking at figure out the percentage. We started at 42, including GST. Now we're at 30. Like it's 30 something percent, right? How motivated am I to get the express shipping on that? The express shipping costs me more. Yeah. So I'm already down. So do I pay the express? Probably not, right? Now, I do the test prints, right? So I run all the test prints and the color doesn't quite match up to the color on the screen. Now, this is something that customers take very seriously because it looks like this on the screen, looks like this in real life. You're like, yeah, it's because you sent me an RGB file on my printer prints CYMK or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you're ordering 100 shirts, I'll give you the test print and be like, is this good? You know, like I've been backwards and forwards with a particular customer who ordered 40 different garments to get the green right in this fucking thing, right? But then you start going, oh, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Right? Then when the shirts come and Nixon, who spends, bleep out the number, that amount of money with me every year, it's not even a rush order. Do I do Nixon first or do I do their shirts first? Yeah. So there's all this conversation that goes around like, it shouldn't be about money, but it is about money.
Yeah.
And you asked for a discount. Now, if you had just said $38.75 plus GST, that's the cost. That's the cost. You would have fallen in line the same as everyone else. And then when you paid the invoice, you said, actually, we need these for next week. Well, you've given me the path of least resistance to here. Sure, I'll isolate your stuff out of my next AS order and we'll express it.
Yeah.
Because it's an extra fucking $7.
Yeah.
Who cares? So that whole conversation about how to value a transaction, and especially like for most people listening to this, you're not the vendor, you're the customer.
Yeah.
Before you ask for a discount, understand what you're asking for.
Yeah.
You're asking for them to give less of a fuck about what you want. And at the end of the day, you're typically going to a vendor because they have something that you don't have.
Yeah.
It's like unless you're buying a car off Marketplace and there's 100 other of those cars that are all priced competitively and all the rest, like asking for a discount is shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's
a strange mindset.
What do you think the future holds for Jake's Apple?
I think it's just continuing to evolve and move with the times and just see where it goes. I don't have any really clear plans in terms of what it looks like. I just like doing what comes into my head. Like
Sick.
I did beers at the start of the year and that took off, which was fun.
Yeah, that's cool as.
Like I made 70 cubes and they just went like that.
Really?
Yeah. Like it was nuts.
Hectic.
And it was just fun. Like I found the right person. I went through I tried 2 or 3 breweries in Perth. A few were like, no, fuck off, you're too small. But these guys were just like, got back within 2 hours. They're like, yeah, we'll do it. Sounds pretty cool. Shoot us through the artwork. And from like that first conversation to me physically picking up the beers was like 3 weeks, I reckon.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
Did you have control over the beer itself or are you just like white labeling a beer essentially?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that blew me away, and that was probably at a time where I was having some like reservations as to what's this look like going forward. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I did that, and I was like, nah, this has still got traction.
Yeah.
I sold 70 cubes within 12 hours, and I could have kept going, but I was like, nah, I want to make it. I think if I made it exclusive and a set quantity, it has that desire and the appeal of I've got to get one, otherwise 100%, they're gone.
Yeah.
Versus leaving it open ended and I might sell 30.
Yeah, I think you want 100 customers and 90 products.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything pre-sold.
Yeah.
That is the fucking move.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's a perfect example of that model of like, it's the Supreme model.
Yeah.
We're going to make fucking 100 house bricks with Supreme on it and then we're never making house bricks again.
Yeah.
Like fucking yes. And also it's in the realm of the brand, but it's also far enough out that it's not a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was it's still surreal to think about like that it happened and I just and the way it happened and how quick and just the buzz like it kind of created it was a cool thing to do. So stuff like that, it's like I'm just leaving it open-ended in terms of what the future looks like, but just keep making stuff, keep creating, keep having exhibitions where I can, and keep drawing, because that's one thing I really want to expose my daughter to, is just that creative side. And like Jess brings her into my studio when I'm drawing, and it's just, she probably doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but she's just,
it's exposure though.
You see her face, like she's observing, and she's seeing her dad do something. So I think for me, it's like something that we can have together down the track, which will be cool. But yeah, I think I'm just happy just doing what I'm doing. Like stuff I've done with you has had a really good response.
Yeah, I had a dude run past with us the other day, the run group on Saturday morning. He was head to toe in the new shit. I was like, that's fucking cool as. Halfway through the conversation, I'm like, fucking printed that.
So stuff like that, it's like, yeah, it's just, I just want to keep doing what I can and when I can. It's just the time thing as well.
All right, question for you. The 1% changes that we're talking about, are they obvious to you, or do you sit down and ponder what the next 1% is?
I think I sit down and think about it, and what that 1% looks like. So yeah, it's probably not obvious to me. No, so I've got to reflect and think about what it is I want to get better at.
Interesting.
So I've been I think the thing I've been focusing in on getting better at lately is probably just around, like I'm not a fool on tech, because I use it every day at work, and I'm pretty efficient on all like the Office suite and all that sort of stuff. But as I said to you, I'm not digitally, like that's not my first nature.
Yeah.
With the digital design, like that's your jam. So I kind of leave it to people like you to do, but I'm just trying to upskill and upweight on stuff like, how can I make my website look better? How can I use AI to improve what I'm doing? How can I make my socials look better? Like that's probably where my focus is at the moment, and like just doing little design things to get a little bit better in terms of that digital piece. And it's easy to do. Like it's like chuck on a YouTube clip, as you said, like with the website. Like I've just, everything I've done recently, because we had a theme and it went to like a paid theme on Shopify, so I had to start from scratch. And I did it because I just looked at stuff like, how do I do this? I did it and I learnt it, and then when I do it again, like it's easy.
100%. The best thing you can do is delete what you've got and have to build something again.
Yeah.
Burn the bridge.
Yeah. And one of my mates was like, I was showing one of my mates, he's like, who did that? And I said, I did it. Yeah. He goes, how? I said, I just watch clips and
dude, it's
practice.
The same as like, you can rebuild an engine this weekend. If you're willing to find an engine, watch a YouTube video, ask heaps of dumb questions, you can rebuild an engine.
Yeah.
And it's like your capacity to do that is only your ability to to imagine yourself doing that to begin with. Yeah. So if you're like, okay, I'm making my website better today.
Yeah.
And then halfway through you're like, fuck, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but you keep on trucking,
Yeah.
Then if you were to do exactly what you did on Sunday as what you did on Saturday, well, you do it in half the time.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing all those little micro learnings. And then Sunday you start going like, all right, I've achieved the foundation of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, how do I make the footer a bit better?
Yeah.
Is there too much going on? Can we simplify? You just ask questions and answer them,
Yeah.
That's sort of what leads me to asking, is it obvious or do you ponder? Yeah. Because I feel like for me, it's like you're walking on a dark path.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't know what's 100 meters ahead. You can only tell what's directly ahead of you.
Yeah.
So you're like, step, that was a good step. That was all good. And it's like obvious to keep stepping. You don't ever have to stop and go like, should I use my left or right foot next?
Yeah.
I think I really do have that like organic curiosity that's like, oh, obviously fix this.
Yeah.
Obviously you're really shit at that. You need to learn that, but yeah, again, like everyone's process is different,
Yeah. And that's probably where I've spent a bit of time recently, is just in that space. And I think I spoke to you just about something as simple as like, I looked at it before, but like the pre-order app, like linking that in with Shopify, and the efficiency like that has provided, something so simple and probably took me 10 minutes to learn how to set it up, saves me chasing up fucking money.
Which
is
which is
not
time,
nice
which
with
is
your mates.
yeah, 100%.
Hey, dude, can you give us that $100 that you owe me for those shirts? So stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, that made the process so much easier. So I'm going to make sure from now on I'm going to be organised to have that set up across the board. So I'm getting the money, paying the invoice for the supplier before the stuff's even here.
Yeah, nothing dampens the spirit of opening that box. Like, now I've got to borrow my own money to pay this guy so that my friends can pay me back.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling.
Soul crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you go like, okay, that one app fixed that one problem.
Yeah.
What other problems do I have that can be fixed by apps? Yeah. And then you end up bombarding your website with apps and it slows down. Now the next problem is, which of these apps don't actually help me?
Yeah.
Like, can I remove them? Oh, they all leave script behind. Oh, I've got to start again and then upload them. Okay. Now this doesn't let me log out without doing, you start.
Yeah. Go down a rabbit hole.
Dude. And like my sort of, like I operate BLXCK INK out of Shopify and I operate Outfit Co out of Squarespace.
Yeah, right.
So I'm pretty proficient in both.
Yeah.
And I would update Outfit Co at the moment weekly.
Yeah.
But when I'm in full swing, it's daily. Daily, I make changes to it. It might just be like terms and conditions.
Yeah.
It might be the way the form operates. It might be the way that I collect data. It might be the like, let's reorder where the video is because I feel like people need to educate before they commit. Let's fucking like, and dude, it's constant.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing about that is you, like, like if you're in there every day, you just like, where the shit is.
Yeah.
It's like Illustrator now. I could almost do it with my eyes closed because I've got all of my shortcuts set up. Like I can look at artwork straight away and be like, oh, okay, this is like your artwork, for example, super high res, only had 4 or 5 base colors in it.
Yeah.
So it was really big, simple colors, needed to be vectorized. I'm like, all right, if I image trace this, which is a process of vectorizing, it sort of looks crappy. So I fed it into AI. I jammed it full of information. So all of the blurry edges, I sort of like packed with color. So it made direct lines in between them and then image trace. I'm like, cool, we're sort of halfway there. I'm going to use only 4 colors instead of 5. I knew all those steps before I got started.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's probably going to go down this path. If it doesn't work here, I'll probably go there. Let's just get started. And then, fucking half an hour later, you're like, sweet, there's a beautiful thing, It's funny actually because I sent a few versions of it and you're like, it's blurry every time I zoom up on it.
Yeah.
I just be like, dude, it's fucking perfect. It's going to be perfect. You're going to see it in real life. You're going to be like, this is shit hot,
Yeah.
But I've also been in your position where you're like, I'm spending X amount of money. I want to deliver this to my customers. There's all these pressures where you're like, just prove to me that it's what I want it to be, It's good.
Yeah.
Is your mind fairly active all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Has bringing life into this world, what does that look like as far as your bandwidth is concerned? Like how much of your day is spent thinking about your child, would you say?
Most of it.
Yeah?
No. A lot of it is, yeah, for sure. But it's all just good stuff. I think... Sorry, I just need a drink.
Yeah, get into it.
Cottonmouth.
Yeah, podcast is bad for it. You go 2 hours, you're like, all I've done is drank coffee.
Yeah, I think a lot of the decisions like are based around like I think the important thing though is that I didn't change and lose who I am just because I had a child, because I see people do that. Do you know what I mean? Like they just drop all this stuff that they used to do that made them happy because they've got a kid.
Do you think that's because they didn't think about what it would be beforehand?
Potentially, yeah. But I think for me it was like, and for both of us, sorry, it's like, it's important to have these things that we enjoy. So we're, as I've said before, we're showing up in the best way we can for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it is just trying to nurture her and her brain, and like read, like routines for me is every night read 2 or 3 books minimum. Because that is important. Like in the lead up when she was, before she was born, it was like have music. Like I know it's stuff that you read and it could be bullshit, but I think it works. Like playing music and reading and all that sort of stuff just engages the mind from an early time. So for me, it's just about making sure I when I'm home, I'm home. Like the work stuff is done. Like I don't look at my work phone.
Yeah.
When I'm home in the afternoon, because I don't want, and that's something that's changed, because I could quite easily before sit at home on the laptop at night and punch out some emails, and if my phone goes off, like I reply to a message then and there. It's like, nah, this is, after this time, it's our time.
Yeah.
So that for me is my biggest commitment to both of them is, putting that shit away and just focusing and
just being there,
dialed in.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just miss stuff. So I think that's probably the biggest one. And it's probably just made me chill out a little bit. I do have an overactive mind still.
Yeah.
But I think it has just made me kind of relax a bit in terms of putting unnecessary pressure on myself and things like that in terms of work. So it's probably just leveled me out. And to be honest, I've had people say that it's made me sort of better and perform better in terms of being a leader at work, because I don't know, it's just chilled me out a little bit and given me some real good perspective. And no matter like how shitty day I had or have, I come home and I see her and she like laughs or smiles and it's like,
sick.
That shit doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That dude that I just spoke to that abused me, like that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
it's such a, I think the big thing there is like the not missing stuff.
Yeah.
Like you've heard me preach it on the podcast. The whole point of the business is to be there.
Yeah.
And like I even find that like with Larissa and like my dog, I watched Larissa, like I've sort of noted lately, and I haven't had this conversation with her, so she'll be learning this listening to this podcast. But she's like a bad bitch now, like she moves and operates and communicates differently.
Yeah, wow.
And there's a certain, like, I've had to make a lot of changes and like prioritize things very differently.
Yeah.
And like literally become someone else to be in the position that I'm in. I'm not saying it's not impossible staying the same. I'm saying it's a lot easier when you allow yourself to compromise and be malleable and fit the space that you're required in.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means knocking off friends. It means, and I mean killing them, not talking to them, knocking off hanging out with people who don't have the same values.
Yep.
Like I've been through that in the past 5 years. Like my circle is like 5 blokes.
Yeah.
Like my friends is like 5 blokes and good blokes, and we don't all have the same goals, but the thing that we all do appreciate about each other is like, oh, yep, that's his thing. That's what he's doing. If he says he's not drinking this weekend, he's not drinking.
Yeah.
He means that. Yeah. And it's for a reason. I'm not going to question it, It's spending habits, lifestyle habits. Like you said before, like, no, I need to be in bed by 8:30.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable, Fuck, what was the point I was making here? Where'd this start?
Back to Larissa.
Being a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And so, all that's very well and good for me in the business, but Larissa's also like just remaining this person beside me.
Yeah.
And like, I think the thing that I've really like picked up on lately is she's so like confident in situations that she wasn't before. And she doesn't take shit from anyone. She used to sort of take shit. She doesn't take shit from anyone, which I value myself on. Like I'm halfway through a conversation I'm not interested in. I'm like, dude, I've got to take a shit. I'll catch you later, Like I don't care about if it's not adding value.
Yeah.
If it doesn't reach that dollar value where I give a fuck about it, it's like, what are we talking about?
Where are we going?
Yeah. Right. And just all of a sudden, like I've noticed her, like dealing with people like strangers in public where she's still polite, but she'll just be like, you're in my way. Like, can you not?
Yeah.
And to observe that, to be able to observe that, like last night I came in, we have dinner at 5:30 every night on the dot, right? I came in at 4:20 yesterday. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. That order that was meant to be delivered tomorrow at 4:00 needs to be delivered tonight because they need it first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So turned on all the heat press. We were out there till 7:30 last night, and for her to turn around and go, let's just fucking do it. Yeah. All right, cool. I know it needs to be done. Let's go. I'll slow the oven down so that takes longer to cook and let's fucking go. A year ago, it would have been like I fucked the day because, and not a discredit, but it's like, that's just to be able to observe her and have that happen. And even like Louie now, she's 5.5 years old, the dog.
Yeah.
And to watch her go through her little phases and not have these moments where you look and you're like, when the fuck did she stop being, or when did she start doing, you know, like seeing these things day by day. Yeah. And like, I'm just so excited.
Cool place to be.
For a baby to, because obviously like those things are all accelerated, right? Like I imagine in 9 months it feels like you've experienced the whole world by now, right?
Yeah, it's like every first is like a special thing. Yeah. First this, first that. But yeah, you guys would be pretty well positioned. Like it's pretty cool that you're both working in the business.
Yeah. It's very cool. Very exciting. Awesome. Yeah.
Like, and that part would be exciting for you guys for when it does
happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Like to have that, you know, your own boss and you're both working in it together. And I think again, when it does happen, like you'll probably go up a gear as well in terms of what you do in the business.
Bro, you think I'm competitive now?
Yeah. It'll just be like a natural thing.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think that whole, like obviously as I say, the point was to do all this so that we could be together.
Yeah.
And we could, you know, what am I trying to say here? The whole point is to be able to like have the time, bandwidth, energy, and finance to make the decisions that we need to make as they happen.
Yeah.
Because regardless of if you like it or not, like I'm comparing this to being a truck driver working night shift. Yeah. You're just gone for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And she's got her friends, and she's got social media, and she's got the movies that she watches, and she's got the thoughts that go around in her head. Yeah. And you've got the thoughts that go around in your head, the social media that you have 15 minutes at a time every 4 hours as a truck driver, and the other fuckhead opinions of other truck drivers who have lost their family or their wife left them or their wife's fucking someone else while they're at work.
Lost all their money or... Yeah.
Brother, I'm telling you, like trying to have that any sort of like congruent ongoing conversation that leads to any meaningful decisions in that scenario is a completely wasted endeavor. And I think that the real powerful thing that we have now is we've had an ongoing conversation for 5 years now. From that moment, how am I going to make money online, to now, we have spent 90% of every day together on average, you know? And it's cool because like I mostly work in here, she mostly works in there. So you're like, you're not together. You're like, you don't want to be in the same room the whole time. Yeah. Trust me. Like we learned that in the caravan. It's awesome, but it also sucks. But, you know, like being able to have that crazy deep 20-minute conversation over lunch.
Yeah.
Where you're like, hey, what happens if our child is like this? And you're like, oh, I didn't see that one on the bingo card today, but let's talk about it. Okay. So, and you have that conversation.
Yeah.
And that's tagging onto the conversation you had yesterday about baby names, fill in the gap. And that tags onto the conversation you have tonight. Hey, remember when you said this? I was just interested. Like, I want to talk about it while it's fresh in my mind. You get to have these touch points so consistently that by the time baby comes along, you're like, fuck, we're kind of almost halfway there.
Yeah.
Like, we're now just need to have the baby.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, as much as you, and everyone loves to tell me I don't know shit until I've had a kid. Fuck you, you know? You've never built a business from nothing either. So how about that? But that whole concept of like, I'm fully ready for the unknown and I feel like I'm equipped with the best partner for me.
Yeah.
Dude, that feeling, I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, you know?
Good spot to be in.
Yeah. And apparently she's a bad bitch as well.
Yeah.
Bro.
Winning.
Pack it up, you know? Yeah, that's what would you say is the biggest takeaway of having a kid so far? Like the biggest level up for you personally?
I think I'd probably be the same if I had a boy, but I think having a girl's probably just softened me up a fair bit. Like it's like,
what was your thought? Did you find out the sex before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was wrapped with either, obviously, as long as they were healthy. Which is a bit cliche, but it's true. But I was just really pumped to have a girl.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fucking awesome. Like
that's cool.
Yeah, she's just definitely softens me up and just it's just
interesting.
It's hard to put into words, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's just
were you a mummy's boy?
Probably a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, 100%. Yeah, I was fucking mummy's boy through and through. You know, Dad said I didn't have the evil in my eyes. Of course, I was a mummy's boy.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
But no, it's just every day's. I think the cool thing is every day's different, and you don't know what you're going to get. Like you slip into a nice routine, and the next day it fucking changes. But you go again, and you work it out, and you change what needs to be changed, and you find the next thing, and then you'll, and so on and so forth. It's like once you think you've got it, she'll fucking fuck that up.
Yeah, yeah. But like, I'm making you stronger, Dad. You'll appreciate this later.
But I think similar to you, like as long as you've got someone, like if you're already in a good position with the person you're with, your partner, I think you're kind of halfway there. Like if you've got a good foundation and really strong communication, and you get along, and you enjoy each other's company. Like you see couples that don't do things together.
Dude, how crazy is that?
Yeah,
they just like it's like.
Where's your partner?
Is that person your friend?
Yeah.
I mean that. Like, I get that you're, I think some people it may just be like a sexual connection. It's like, I get that you're like, you live with this person and you share bills, but are you friends?
Yeah.
Do you like hanging out with each other? Do you laugh about the same things? Do you watch the same shit? Like, what is it that connects you if not that?
Yeah.
It's such a...
It's
bizarre, man. Because like, I really feel like Riz and I are best friends.
Yeah.
It's like the ongoing inside jokes are fucking crazy, and you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Like that's the coolest part about it. And then you just like other people is like, fucking, ball and chain and rah. It's like, I get that your dad said that ages ago, but are you saying it because you actually feel like you're stuck?
Yeah.
Because no one's ever stuck.
No.
It's that's sort of bizarre to me.
It is. But I think, as I said, like you've got that down pat, and you guys are in a real good zone, obviously, and I feel like we had that before we had her, so I was like confident, I guess. Like I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen and how I was going to do things, but when you're together and you both want the best and you both are into similar things that you can then share with her or him, it's cool. Like because we're into the same music, we watch the same stuff, we love being outdoors and being active, so it's like, let's show her all that stuff. And
it's easy.
Yeah. So no, it's the best.
What was your... Actually, I do remember that rucking conversation we were having. She must have been due in maybe like 3 or 4 months. So that sort of puts it's about a year ago, I guess.
Yeah.
That puts a good timestamp on it. You were at the time, I think you were doing like the classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your preparation like? So footnote, the most common thing that I hear is like your job as a father is pretty much just to support mum as much as possible. You're not really going to be able to do much for bub. It's more just like make mum's life easy. She'll make bub's life easy, and that will sort of be the circle.
Yeah.
So what was that preparation and execution like for you around that time?
I think I just said yes to everything. Like in terms of, we did a few like late night Zoom calls in classes around, various topics. So I just kind of went, yep, I'm going to do that and learn and just kind of throw myself into it in that way, because I just wanted to be, I'm the sort of person that is very planned in terms of how I do things in my just general day to day. So for me, if I wasn't planned in this space, then I'm kind of setting myself up to fail if I don't, every pregnancy is obviously different. So you take from it what you can. But I just jumped on, and like it shows your partner that you are invested. Yeah. You hope you are. But just that you actually give a shit and you want to try and understand how you can show up and be there and be useful. So for me, it was just jumping on all that stuff. Even if it was inconvenient, you still jump on, and it's like, and when it actually happens, you do think about the stuff that you took from, whether it be a Zoom meeting or a face-to-face birthing class. You do kind of remember, So it does set you up pretty well. You can never prepare fully for it, but it just made me feel a little bit better and gave me that better understanding of what to
Yeah, I guess it would be like a confidence thing as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, information is power in those moments, you know, like I can't imagine how many moments during pregnancy, childbirth, and then having a kid where you're just like, no one told me about this bit.
Yeah.
You know? So if you're like we're a year into trying, right?
Yeah.
And like the amount of like narrative, like stories and experiences, and just like I feel like we're nowhere near full bottle, but it's like, had we got pregnant this time a year ago, you would really, you know, see the whites of my eyes going like, what? You know, and now it's sort of like, all right, cool. I actually have a fairly good gist of like what to expect as far as like, you know, energy consumption for both of us, what those months leading up to childbirth looks like, what she's going to go through when it happens, like what those, a few of the first moments that you're going to experience, all the things that people are like, man, if there's, you know, the sleep topic, the like lifestyle preparation topic of like, you know, have 3 months worth of food in the freezer if you can, like all of these little things. It's like, okay, cool. You're starting to like make an account of what all this shit looks like.
Yeah.
And especially as dad, because you're like, okay, you know, we're doing this much per month, right? And if we did that and maintain that, how does that fit into what that new lifestyle looks like?
Yeah.
Because, of course, that provider brain turns on you. Okay, cool. Probably need to like add 25% on there if we're going to be comfortable. Obviously, Riz isn't going to be doing as much work during pregnancy. Once she has the baby, essentially, I would like to hope she doesn't have to work for as long as she wants, because that's the most bad man you can be, right?
Yeah.
Your missus doesn't have to work. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
She's chilling with the kids.
Yeah.
You know? So that element of it, I think, you know, knowledge is power. And that's what it sounds like for you. It's like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do it. Then after the fact, you're like, oh, actually, I know some shit.
Yeah.
You know? Because I think that's what sort of hit me when we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Along Back Beach. I'm like, oh, you got some facts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And conversely, you can get too much information from people that, not so much in those classes, but I suppose just from general advice from people that, you know, friends or,
right,
you know what I mean? Like take on what you want to take on, and
yeah, I feel like that's an analysis paralysis thing, right?
Yeah.
And also, you know, the really important thing with business, only take advice from people with bigger businesses than you.
Yeah.
Because everyone else doesn't get it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you've had a kid, cool. If you've had 6 kids, sit down. I've got some questions for you, you know? Because the person who's had 1 kid, it's the same as like the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, it might have been like the end of my professional speed skating career. For some people, it was 9/11.
Yeah.
They're both bad.
Yeah.
And to you, the scale of how bad that is, it's still redlining.
Yeah.
You know, so someone who's had 1 kid, it's like, oh, you got to this, and this, and this. The old bird who's had 6 kids is like, look, here's the shit that matters, all right? This, and this. Get those 3 things right. The rest will just diffuse into normalcy for you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's such a trip. It's crazy to think that this is what we're built for.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we're built to do this.
Yeah.
Not to run businesses or have
procreate
big Instagram followings or any of that. It's all about making more of us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's bizarre when you think about it.
100%. What's the goal amount of children, do you think?
I think 2.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think... Yeah, I just think that would be the ideal.
Does Jess have brothers or sisters?
Yeah. She's got a couple of sisters.
Oh, okay. So you're both from 3 boys, 3 girls.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. So, yeah, and interesting. All right. So you wouldn't go 3?
No, probably not. Probably not only because of because I'm obviously a little bit older. So I often think about, you know, I guess that age piece and how old am I going to be when they're
18, 25 for sure.
So I kind of,
Yeah, and then you've also got like, you know, respective of Jess's experience, how big is the gap between baby 1, baby 2 and however many after that?
So I think 2 for us would be the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, a girl and a boy,
yeah,
lethal.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Imagine an older sister that can beat the shit out of
you.
Yeah. Please, leave me alone. That'd be unreal.
But no, it's awesome.
Yeah. And how's Jess's trajectory been through pregnancy and everything? Has it been, I guess, the female experience for us is like talking about fucking something in Cantonese. How do you see her experience from your point of view?
Oh, it's just, I think it just opens your eyes to like the strength of like a female going through that whole process and birth and fucking hell, it's
huge.
It's full on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just seeing her like obviously adored her before and we had, you know, a fantastic relationship, but it just levels up when you see your partner.
Oh, true.
To, you know, your daughter, your child. Like it just, you see him in a completely different light.
Interesting.
And the way they interact and like you just see them grow. I don't see it for myself. Like I have people say they see it, which is pretty cool, like observation. But I see it with her and how she is and how she interacts and how she's grown as a person and just, yeah, you kind of just marvel at what they can do and do on very little sleep as well.
Yeah, true. That whole side of things, yeah. Interesting.
But no, it just gives you a whole different appreciation and a different kind of love for your partner. It's pretty amazing.
I never really considered that. I guess that shade of what that meant actually, you know, that sort of hit differently. Because I have thought about like obviously getting to, like I'm excited to watch Riz go through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think like I've got one real close friend, her daughter is, 3, I think. And like that's really interesting, just sort of like, would she be 3? Maybe 2. It's really interesting watching her go through this like I've known this girl, we used to party together and like, you know, you watch your friends become adults, right? And it's like I've watched her become an adult. Yeah. And then watching her become a mother, you're just like, oh, there's like layers to this shit.
Yeah.
You know? And then when you experience the motherhood part of this person that you knew before that, then you start looking at like your mum.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, wow. And then you start looking at mums in general and you're like, oh, I sort of get what makes a really good mum now.
Yeah.
You know? And then you go, oh, okay, I can now understand some of the difficult decisions that my parents made acting as a mother and not as acting as this person, you know, because, you know, up until these moments you have these change of perspective thoughts. You're like, it's just the woman who was always there.
Yeah.
You know, it's mum.
Yeah.
It's not a mother. It's just mum, you know?
Yeah.
So then to see your partner go through that must be a whole fucking revelation of its own.
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, it's full on.
How exciting. Oh, you got me G'd up to have a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Not even hopefully, fuck it. 2026 is the year, eh? Yeah. I think, you know what's crazy is every month that, because obviously you have this return, you have this feedback loop.
Yeah.
Once a month you find out if it happened or not.
Yeah.
Right? And like every month that it didn't happen, I was sort of like, oh, like I would have made it work. Nothing would have accelerated my need to make it work more than getting pregnant. But every month that it didn't happen, you're sort of like, oh, okay, cool. I've got one more month to get my shit together. And I'm not having that anymore.
No.
Every month that it doesn't happen now, for this month and the last month, I was just like, no, do it. It's happening. You know, and if it happened now, I'm ready. I'm prepared. Yeah. They say there's never a good time. Sounds like something you say if you didn't prepare for it, you know? That's literally what that is. But yeah. Anyway, I think we've talked about everything under the sun. Did you have questions for me?
Yeah, I did. I guess it was just in terms of like, where do you see, like, how do you see Outfit Co /Black Ink evolving into the future and what's it like?
I've just recently made a very, very big change. We were heading another direction for January and I've literally made the decision to not head that direction yesterday. Yeah. So my future projection has gone from one colour to another colour in a certain sense. But, you know, it's like, you know, I'm happy to disclose it on the podcast. We're doing like months at the moment.
Yeah.
which 2 people from home is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to bleep that out. I want to get to
Yeah.
I want to do from home with 2 or 3 people. I want to subcontract out the manual, like the pressing.
Yeah.
So like say, 18-year-old Ash comes to me and says, I want to make $500-700 a week.
Yeah.
I can either lease or sell the heat press to them, and then they come and get the garments and the prints, and they get $1 for every one they print.
Yeah.
And then they deliver it, they can make another $15. So that sort of takes all of the manual part of it out.
Yeah.
But dude, I like doing this.
Yeah.
I want to do this 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
And I want this to generate enough money that if Outfit Co is good, it's good, and if it's not, it's not.
Yeah.
But I think, I've built like an internal system for Outfit Co so we can manage our projects infinitely.
Yeah.
Like we can scale that as big as we want. I've got a machine that's 4 times the size of what we need, and we're growing into it.
Yeah.
I've pretty much done all the manual parts of the workshop. I've got a really like good workshop that's efficient, great environment, allows us to do everything we need to do. Me personally, as a business owner, I feel like I'm growing at such an accelerated rate that realistically now all I need to do is just sort of churn and let the lessons come to me.
Yeah.
Like I really had to chase the lessons. I'm at a point now where I can just do the next obvious improvement.
Yeah.
So we just for example, we just have implemented a care card.
All right.
That goes into each order. Now it used to be a business card.
Yep.
But the business card, you take the first shirt off and it falls down.
Yeah.
And then you throw it out with a box. And then maybe 6 weeks, 6 months from now, you're like, oh, one of my prints faded. And you're like, yeah, well, okay, do you cold wash it? Yeah, I cold wash it. Do you hang it on the line? Yeah, hang it on the line. Did you soak it in the first 24 hours? And you're like, it was 6 weeks. I don't know. Did you wash it in the first 24 hours? I have to, I don't know. Why? Well, that was on the care card. Yeah, I didn't get a care card. You got a care card, right? So it's like, all right, the care card needs to be bigger. And if I sell Ash 20 garments that go to 15 different people, well, you're not going to show everyone the care card as you.
Yeah.
So now all of the garments in those situations have a miniature version of that on a sticker that has a QR code that links to a special hidden page on my website that actually goes through the care garments. So that's something that takes, you got to figure out the care garment wording, got to design something, have it printed and tested.
Yeah.
Then you got to create the sticker, have them printed and tested, and then you got to circulate that into the process for about 3 months, and then figure out exactly, all right, there's a spelling error on the care card falls down, can we put it in between this, what does this look like, fix all the obvious problems, and then version 2 of the care card, do this. So it's like, it's things like that we're at that point now where the process is actually pretty ironclad.
Yeah.
Now all we're doing is like, all right, when a box comes into the workshop, it gets touched 3 times. How do we make it 2?
Yeah.
Let's focus on that, because I'm now at the point where I really don't need to advertise. We have an advertising campaign that we regularly turn off because it brings us too much work. Where like just last week or the week before, last week, sorry. Like I think we had like of return of just like word of mouth or return customers. Right. So that's just people that like, we've already got the shit on hand. Like, dude, it's easy. We're at the point now where we have everything we need, and they just go, hey, Jake, big company X needs 50 new shirts because we've just taken over this thing and we need all those staff members to, can you do that? You're like, it's a 15-minute process, and I made $1,000 off it,
Yeah.
And it's like that. I'm bleeping all that out, by the way. As I'm saying, I'm like, fuck, no one needs to know, But that sort of like being in a position now where you're like, cool, we don't need to do big things. We need to do a significant higher amount of small things.
Yeah.
And get them really right and tune them, because I feel like we're at the point now, if you tune them, make the process easier, then you're going to make more money with less effort.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the why, so that Riz doesn't have to work. And when I give someone else her job, it's like, here is a 5-step instruction manual, follow the instructions, everything else is sorted for you. Don't think about it, just do the job. And then you can get Ash or the neighbor or mum or whoever to do that job. And then that takes Riz out of the business, still generates enough money that she can not work, and also for every problem that I solve now is a problem I don't have to solve when she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So the goal of like, where does Black Ink an outfit go? It goes wherever it needs to go to make sure that the why is realized.
Yeah. That's cool. It's yeah, I think from where I'm sitting, it's just been cool to see it evolve. I think I've spoke to you before, or I flick you a text every now and then and just say, you know, when I've listened to a particular pod, just how far it's come, like in terms of, you know, how you present and what you talk about and just the actual content is really, yeah, it's credit to you and what you're doing. Like,
thank you.
I'm not someone that, I think I'm bad with podcasts because I'm not routine enough to listen to like one every week.
Yeah.
Like with Rogan or whatever, I'll choose the ones where it's like someone I really like. So
it's
I'll
definitely pick and choose with him now.
I'll dial in on those, and there's been some decent ones recently. But yeah, I've listened to yours fairly consistently lately, and it's obviously just, yeah, it's gone up a notch in terms of your guests. I think you've had some really strong guests of late, and just the way you sort of, facilitate it is really cool. So,
dude, it's effortless. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying like this is the shit that I love doing.
Yeah,
you know, like I look forward to this, and as soon as it's over, I'm like, I got to do real work now. You know, like I have to fucking think now. This here, I'm just, you know, you're in the first 15 minutes. I'm like, it was immediate to me. Like, is your 1% obvious? So you need to think about it, because I'm like, I betcha it's obvious. And then when you said it's the, I'm like, all right, so that means how much do you weigh again? You know what I mean? Like I fucking love talking.
Yeah. No, it's been good fun. I must admit, I was a bit nervous. Had sweaty palms coming into this because I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect, and I think it like when I asked you, is it kind of not scripted, but is there an agenda as such, or is it just free will? That's probably what like made me stress a bit, because I am very like methodical.
Want to know what's going on?
Like, what are we going to talk about? Am I going to be interesting enough? Just stuff like that goes through your mind. So it's instantly forgotten about when you come in, and it's just like conversation. So this is just
you know what it is.
Two people.
The through line between humanity is, I know I'm going really broad with that statement, but the through line to humanity is everyone wants to feel valued, everyone wants to be relatable, everybody wants to feel like the person that they're scared of.
Yeah.
Right? And like, you know, let's break down how this conversation started. Like, you're from a family that spent a lot of time together. Christmases must have been huge. You're on a farm. You've got 3 brothers. You've got other people in your family that are in business, right? We've got a similar body shape. We're the same age. We have the same goals. You're a father. I want to be a father. We both live in Bunbury. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
The through line between us is crazy. It's effortless. When I sit down with someone like Gabby Gassab, I'm like, brother, what the fuck are we going to talk about? You know? Because it's like, dude, a Lebanese man running from there, like it literally could not be further away from me. But I can even find, you can even, it's like, all right, this man wants to be cared for, because I want to be cared for, you know? And it's like immediately focusing on that example, it's like you get into like, well, tell me, what's your experience? How did you end up here?
Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden you're finding these crazy things where you're like, all right, I don't relate to that at all. What elements of this can I relate to?
Yeah.
You know, and you talk about like everyone's worst day is their worst day. Dude, his worst day makes my day look like the sun was out. I was surrounded by attractive girls. It was fucking awesome, because fuck, man, dude's been through it. His family's been through it, you know? And I think that, like, being an only child who's moved around a lot as a kid forced me to find the relatability in everyone, so I can immediately make you my friend.
Yeah.
Because if I don't immediately make you my friend, I'm just going to be by myself forever, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know? So this is just an organic place to be able to have uninterrupted conversations with people and just connect, you know?
Yeah, it's awesome. And as I said, mate, credit to you in terms of where
I hate getting compliments, dude. Shut the fuck up.
Where it's at. I think it's good, like when, I can come in and have this sort of conversation with you, and there's no, like for me, there's no like tall poppy syndrome in my mind. I want people around me to succeed, and you know, there's a lot of people that would happily see even friends or people they know fail to make themselves kind of feel better. I'm sure you've met people like that, but
what do you think that is?
Insecurity,
yeah,
maybe, or not, probably not confident enough in their own product or ability, potentially a threat. Yeah, it's interesting. We're both started out in similar fields, and I guess we were like the side by side there in terms of both producing like clothing in Bunbury, and it's like, it's interesting, and it's like both kind of evolved and changed from that original product, and both have kind of found places within the same space.
If you went back 10 years, the best thing we could have done is a collab.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Yeah. You know? I think that like I'm not in competition with anyone ever. Yeah. Like I found out the other day that one of the workwear places in town has a DTF printer.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck, dude. Good luck. Like if you have problems, genuinely call. Like I'm sending you a message. You can call me if you need help, because you've just taken on a headache that never goes away, no matter how much water or Panadol you have. You literally have a child.
Yeah.
You know, that thing has to be plugged into the power 24 hours a day. It turns itself on every 4 hours just to make sure that shit's all good. Like you have just bought a problem. Yeah. You know? And I'm not saying that because I want them to fail. I'm saying because it's like, dude, you're not going to do what I do. I'm not going to do what you do. There is no competition. And the exact same. Jake's Apple and Black Ink, the only thing they have in common is that they're a brand.
In Bunbury.
You know what I mean? It's like you're always going to have your crowd. I'm always going to have my crowd. And the best thing we could have done is cross-pollinate so everyone wins. Yeah. You know? But you say that with 10 years worth of experience under your belt, it's obvious. Yeah. You know? Yeah, that tall poppy thing, like, what is the relevance there with this? Do you think there's a potential for me to have tall poppy having people on here?
No. I'm just talking generally. Like,
just,
terms, you know. I just think it's cool to, I think, express like gratitude and respect to people that are making things work and having a crack and like doing their thing and stepping outside their comfort zone, and just, you know, because it doesn't happen enough, I don't think. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
taking that stab is definitely it's like, how would you explain it? It's one of those, for me, like I'm so excited to try something new that might fail now. Yeah. And you make reasonable bets. Yeah. Right. When you've got a job that's paying the bills, gives you a bit extra money, you've got a nice car, things are going really well. You're like, why would I bet all of that on an idea? Yeah. But once you've done it and it's worked, you start going like, well, I'm not going to make life-changing bets regularly. Yeah. But I sort of like betting. I sort of like,
don't bet on me.
What if we put $2,000 into this project? Can I afford to lose $2,000? I don't want to, but I could. Well, fuck it, do it. Yeah. You know, like, you know what I got printed the other day? A custom mouse pad. Hilarious, right? And I'm probably going to put a price tag on it that makes it no way understandable or achievable. Yeah. But if that works, it's so fucking obvious once it does work. You're like, why doesn't everyone do that? Yeah. You know? And I feel like that betting on yourself, and also having the transparency to go like, I'm not the man. I'm not the best at this. I'm just trying, you know, and being able to sit down with people that are way smarter than you and go, what's your experience? You're way smarter than me than being a dad. You have so much more information than I do. I'm not going to sit and fucking challenge you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And it's like, all right, I'm going to take a little bit of that advice and take a little bit of this advice. We're going to mix in some experience, giving it a shot. We're going to say, and I said, like I said before, it's all data sets. Yeah. You know, and you tend to find, I've had this mantra in my head since my awareness blossomed in me at the age of 17, that the pattern repeats itself no matter what size the situation is. Yeah. The pattern is exactly the same. And this is such a broad mantra that works for me. The pattern of learning Illustrator is the same pattern as becoming a dad, is the same pattern as taking a risk, is the same pattern. It's literally just the elements that are different. Once you understand the pattern, the world is yours. Yeah. Everything is yours. Yeah. It's just making a decision. It's that God complex. I understand the pattern. So what do I want to be brilliant at? Yeah. Fuck, let's end there. That was nuts. Crazy. Thanks for coming on the podcast, dude.
Thank you, mate. Enjoyed it.
Everyone else, be good to your mum, because we are out.